So if you want to get into AR development, there are 4 major mistakes that you should avoid at all costs. And I know that because I've been doing all of them in the last couple of years and lost a lot of sleep and a lot of time over it. So in today's video, I want to walk you through all of them and tell you what to do to avoid them. And especially the 4th one is really important. I see a lot of developers doing this wrong, so make sure to stay until the very end. Hey, what's up and how's it going? This is Toby and I've been doing augmented reality and computer vision development for over 4 years now, winning at hackathons like the MIT Reality Hack, publishing my own AR game into the App Store, as well as doing dozens of tutorials. And on this channel, I want to share my knowledge and the projects that I'm working on within this amazing technology. So let's dive into the most important mistakes that you should definitely not do. So the very first mistake is going cross-platform as a very first priority. And this is especially important for you if you are like me, a solo developer or maybe a small team, or you're just getting started into AR development. Because there's so many platforms right now, such as the Meta Quest, the Pico, the Vision Pro, the Spectacles, and then we still have mobile phones, we have iOS, we have Android. And the very first thought that could come to mind is that you want to build something that runs on any device, on any mobile phone, or any XR headset, and so on. And from my experience, this is the wrong approach here. And it's totally legit to want to build something that later on runs on multiple platforms. But the problem with this approach is that you will all the time just be fighting with all those different hardwares and technologies instead of focusing on what actually matters. And this is creating an app that is fun or useful or valuable for your users. And this will just cost much time, and maybe at the end, no one will use your app, though it's perfectly optimized for all those different platforms. Not speaking of the fact that platforms like mobile AR and XR headsets are very, very different in terms of user experience and what you can do and what apps might be fun and useful. So mobile AR and XR headsets are 2 completely different platforms in this regard. And therefore, it's very difficult to build an app that will be fun and useful on both at the same time. So you first want to focus on one platform like iOS or Android, depending on what kind of device you have at home. And maybe you have the Quest or the Pico at home. So first just focus on this specific platform and make an app that's actually valuable. Think about the idea that you have and maybe if that fits better for an XR headset or a mobile phone, and then just choose one and build the concept that you have in a MVP, so a minimum viable product, so just a prototype, and see if actually people like it or use it or find it useful, and then continue to develop that app until you have a user base, and you can definitely say that what you build provides a value and is good enough so that people will use it regularly. And only once your app has reached a certain amount of success, you can start thinking about porting it to other platforms. Of course, it can always be useful to, when originally designing the app, kind of think about what features are available on all devices, so on the different XR headsets or on different mobile phones. However, there will definitely always be the possibility to kind of adjust the app or the technical features in order to make your idea work on another device. So the next big mistake is to rely on experimental features or plugins that you cannot control when building long-term production-ready apps. And this is sadly something that happened to me only recently when launching my AR game EVAs to the App Store. Here I used the Niantic Spatial SDK to do AR multiplayer, and you were able to do fun dogfights with small AR planes with your friends in your living room. And all worked pretty well and it was a lot of fun. However, only a few weeks after launch, Niantic announced that they will be shutting down AR multiplayer in May, which were only a few weeks or months after the release of the game, which would essentially completely erase the main selling point of it. So this is definitely something I learned the hard way, and I also made another video about it. And this is, do not rely on essentially experimental technology or technology that you essentially cannot control, right? So there are 2 scenarios here. One would be you have some kind of plugin or asset or add-on that you're using, but you can control it because you got the source code in your project. And even if they would discontinue, for example, doing updates, you could kind of still use the current version and you would be fine. And I think this is rather okay. But then if these are plugins or assets that are tied to some kind of license or some kind of online service or anything, and it could just be shut down from one day to the next, then this is a dependency you don't want to have in your production apps or long-term projects, right? There's always some kind of risk. Even Unity engine is of course not safe from maybe one day failing But still then we would be able to maybe use the last version of Unity and they maybe open source it or anything. So my advice here would be to just stick to the basic features like Unity and its AR foundation, and maybe also the meta tools, because this is just a bigger company that has been in the space for quite some time. And there's also the likeliness that they would just maybe, even if they would stop developing, that you could just use kind of the version that you are on, which would also be fine, at least short to medium term, but do not rely on any experimental tools. But I would still definitely encourage you to get out there and test out the latest plugins and add-ons that you can find on the internet, because it's always fun to work with those experimental technologies and kind of see where the industry is going and how these new technologies that might become standard a day are currently already working. But I definitely advise you to only do this in small prototypes where you spend maybe a couple of weeks working on, and that you also don't plan to kind of publicly release, let's say, in the App Store or something. Now, the third one is also very important, and this is do not start to think from a technical perspective. One mistake I did, especially in the beginning, was to think about the features that we had at hand. And this is actually important, I think, not only for AR development, but for other fields in software development or maybe in engineering as well. So I was just thinking about object detection, semantic segmentation, AR meshing, and I was kind of imagining what kind of features I could build, for example, for my AR game EVA. So I did object detection and I thought, hey, maybe it would be fun if you scan your shoes that you will get a speed power up. Or if you scan your coffee, for example, you get some other power up, which sounds fun, but then it actually didn't provide the value I was thinking it would provide, and it would actually make the game way too complicated to play and maybe would even take out the fun. And I did other prototypes before that as well, where I was just thinking about which technical features do we have, what could I kind of build with that, instead of just thinking from the exact opposite. And that would be, what would be a fun game, right? What kind of game mechanics would be fun? And, what would be the main features and the main game loop? Or maybe if you build a productivity app, what would be the main value for the users or the customers? And I would definitely advise to start from that direction, because otherwise you definitely have the danger of building something that has all the latest and greatest technical features implemented, but no one gets actually any value or fun from just using these features, right? So the kind of value for the user should always be the main focus. And the fourth point, which is also super important and very closely connected to that, is that you want to create something that is actually better or more fun doing in augmented reality than in 3D, right? So for example, if you have a game idea and a core game loop, then this has to be more fun doing in your living room or in your kitchen or whatever than actually doing this in 3D. And so I want to give you an example here. Before I did the kind of game mode in EVAs, where you would just fight against your friends in your living room, I thought about doing a racing game with airplanes in your living room, for example. So you would scan your room and would create a track that you could just fly through. And the problem with that is that after testing a bit in this prototype, I thought that maybe the core mechanics of a racing game would be that you could, for example, beat your time or become better in the next run. However, AR, or one of the core elements of augmented reality, is that you will most likely never or only rarely play it in the exact same spot, right? So maybe you just sit at your desk and you will play it all the time, but you might also just want to play it in your bedroom or in your kitchen or outside or at a friend's house, right? So the core idea of augmented reality always has to be that you do something that is fun or valuable or interesting to do at different places. And a racing game, for example, one of the main values of playing a racing game would be to have kind of the same world or the same tracks to drive all the time, and then kind of getting better over time, right? So there's not that much value in just generating new random tracks all the time. At least this is what I think. And there are also other things that speak against it. But this was just a very short example of how you need to think of building AR first. So building something that is fun anywhere and where you would kind of create a procedural world, or you kind of need to factor in the different environments and make sure that this is still fun and this still provides value. And if you now start your AR development journey and keep these 4 major mistakes in mind when building your own projects, you will definitely be on the track for success. And your apps will be built a lot faster and have a great user experience because you only focus on one platform, at least on the beginning. You won't have any bad surprises because you only relied on features that are solid and already a few years in the market on big platforms, and on something that even if it would be stopped being developed today, you could still use in your apps. Your app will be a lot of fun or provide great value because you started thinking about the user value first, and it will be worth it to do it in augmented reality because you started thinking about what kind of concepts would actually be more fun in augmented reality than just plain 3D. Alright, and with that said and with these tips in mind, this is the end of this video, and I would be very interested to find out what you guys think about it, so let's discuss in the comments below. But until then, as always, thanks a lot for watching and see you next time.